We are live. Hello, hello, everybody.
Hi! Oh, I'm excited. Okay, I am just making sure everything is good. It looks like we are good to go. Oh, I'm excited. Yes. Okay, we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. And I'm excited. I'm excited. Today is the day. This is Crystal who is joining me from the U Brand Academy. I'm so excited, girl. Like,
Yes.
goodness. So we are gonna today. Let's talk about what we're gonna talk about today. Let's just get them a little intro on what we're talking about before we
Let's
start
do it.
giving them all the tea because I don't think they're ready. I really don't think they're
Mm,
ready.
nope.
Today, you know, we're really going to be answering the question if being a wealthy employee is an actual thing, and of course it is. Of course it is. But
Of course.
we need to explain. I think a lot of people have that perception out there that they can't be wealthy and be an employee. Like I feel like those they feel like the two terminologies can't go together, and it's such a lie.
It
And
is.
we're here to explain why, no matter where you are in your career journey, we want to make sure that you have all the tools, all the info, all the details on how to become and be that wealthy employee, regardless if you're in your interview process, regardless if you're already employed or if you're looking to transition. What do you need to be thinking about to maintain this wealthy employee status? Okay. So without further ado, we are going to introduce Miss Crystal Williams, okay, our career coach.
Hey, everybody. My name is, first off, thank you, Jessica, so much for having me on your platform. I really appreciate you. I'm so excited to just even have this conversation. Jessica and I literally just met about 2 weeks ago, honestly, and we just have very similar interests as far as the audience. I'm a career coach. She's coming from a financial perspective, but I'm coming from a perspective where I need you to be happy with what you are doing in the role that you're even going after, not just a job, but a career. There's a difference, right? And so, as a career coach, I coach people on how to and educate people on how to strategically job search, help them elevate in their interview skills, help them get all the proper tools they need in order to present themselves properly, so when they do get the opportunity they can what come correct, period. Period.
Period.
And so that's me in a nutshell. I am the founder and the CEO of the U Brain Academy. If you want to follow me more, definitely follow me more on my page at Crystal Career Gems. That's on Instagram, but also you can follow me on YouTube at the U Brain Academy. That's just the name of the channel. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn at Crystal Williams, MBA.
Yes, make sure they put some respect on your name, okay? With this,
Hello.
hello, hello. Goodness. So yes, it's so funny that you mentioned that because I was gonna mention that. I'm like, we just met not even like 2 weeks ago, and we're here, and I'm just so glad that we were able to collaborate on this level, um, and so quickly. Like we connected as if we knew each other for like 5 years. Like
Yes, yes. I love when that happens, right? It's just
yes,
boop. Okay, now you know you're
yes,
supposed to be working with this person.
yes, yes, exactly, exactly. So I'm good. I want to make sure that we get into it. Make sure that we have that we're answering all the questions. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in the chat so that we can answer them while we are going through all the other questions that we have. But yeah, let's get started. Let's get into it. So I really wanted to start off with just thinking about the interview process and kind of like when somebody's preparing for their career. I know that some people, the first thing they think about when they're either looking for a job or looking for a career is like, where can I make the most money though? Where can I make the most money? And I want to go ahead and start that off with you. I want to start that question off with you to see where can somebody um find the career that's going to pay them the most.
Yeah, so that's a really good question because everybody really, not everybody, some people, I'm not going to put everybody, but some people really want to chase that dollar. They really want to chase the most money. And, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but it's not the best thing. Because at the
Right.
end of the day, you may not be happy with what you're doing and you may not be fulfilled with what you're doing.
Mhm.
So, with that said, where you're going to get the most bang for your buck is in an industry where you're really passionate at.
Mhm.
Period. It is going to be a self-reflection with yourself for you to tap in to see what is it that I really want to do? What are the skills that I really want to use on a regular basis? Do I want to use communication skills? Do I want to use my personable skills? Do I want to use my technical skills on a regular basis? Right? It's really going to depend on what industry that you're in, right? And what is it that is drawing you to that industry? And a lot of times you're going to tap into yourself, but you're going to also ask yourself, why? Why am I in this industry, right? Why am I here? What is it that's pulling me to come into work on a daily basis? What is it that's pulling me to turn on my laptop if you're remote on a daily basis? What is it? Because it's not just, oh, I'm just here to get a paycheck. Oh, it's not just, oh, I'm just here to just be here.
Mhm.
No, you don't just want to be in a job just existing. You want to be adding value to any position that you're in, any
Right.
position that you're in. So you want to ask yourself the why. Why am I in this industry? Secondly, you want to ask yourself, okay, so what is the value that I want to contribute to this industry? Right. And so that's where you're going to really find the most passion about because, you may go to school, study for a certain thing, and you may be like, oh, I'm not feeling this right now. Like, why am I not feeling this? Then you have to have that self introspection. And then you can then venture off into an industry or a field that you're most comfortable with, or not comfortable with. I'm going to say comfortable with, most passionate about because we're always on a way of getting out of our own way to
Mhm.
get out of our what comfort zone.
Right. Exactly. And I like what you said because that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, well, what if we have, I know a lot of students coming fresh out of high school, or if they plan on going to college, if they come out of college, they're probably thinking like, well, I don't even know what I really want to do, even though I just had this degree, even though I just went
Mhm,
to school, like, or maybe, if they didn't, like I said, they went to high school and they're just like, I don't really know what I want to do. Um, and I think that's important to ask yourself why. Like what is it that interests you? What do you like to do? Do you like
mhm,
to communicate? What kind of value do you want to add? Because that's really important too. When you realize the value that you're adding and you see how it affects the others that you're talking to, or whatever your work is connected to, it makes it that much more fulfilling to be in that position and to be in that career and to be in that job. So that's why I really wanted to start off with this question because, especially when we come out of college, you got, the loans, you may have the loans and all that other stuff. So you trying to look for like, okay, where the money though?
yes, where's the
but,
money?
but you definitely don't want to just work and become just um a regular 9 to 5, or I guess you would say, where you're just legit looking for the check every 2 weeks. It's like, where my check? Where my check? I don't care.
Yes. And that's a good segue into what I really want to talk about, that type of mindset. Because it's a mindset when you have that, oh, where my chat, or you heard people say, run me my money, run me my chat. Like what is it? Like you shouldn't find yourself saying that all the time. And when you have that type of mindset, it's called the collect the check mindset. I mean, this is in a negative tone, right?
Mhm.
Collect the check, like you should not have that type of mindset because literally when you have that mindset, you are what they like to call quiet quitting. You're like, I'm
Mm,
totally through right now. I ain't gonna let them know, but
mm,
through in my mind. And so I'm over here checking for the next opportunity,
Mm,
looking to hop from one job to the next. And let
mm,
me say this, there's nothing wrong with going to another job, taking on new opportunities. However, you do you don't want to do that all the time,
right.
all the time, because it does have a negative tone to it.
Mm,
But you don't want to chase something that, oh, it's just a job. I'm just out here just looking for the coins. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. No, you want to have that why behind you. You always want to carry it. Your why becomes your mission and all of that. It can evolve, but at the same time, you then evolve out of the collect the check mindset into something where it's more stable, to something that you are really now maturing in your career journey.
right. Yes. And I like it's kind of a good segue with that you said that. And even if you are thinking about transitioning, what are some things that somebody should be thinking about in transitioning in their job? Because like you said, even if you get into that collect the check mindset, your next thing is, well, what's my next job that I can be doing? Or even if you are on the right track and you're thinking as far as for your what you want to add value to, and you just feel like there's maybe not the career growth in the position that you're in right now or with the company, and you're looking to transition. What's some things that we should be thinking about as both employees to prepare ourselves for that next step in the new career.
Yes, yes. So, of course, this stems from your why. Why are you even transitioning jobs? What's the why? Yeah, it could be for the money, it could be for family reasons, it could be for a lot of things, but you want to draw it back to like what's your core? What's your core saying? Like what are the core values that you have? Maybe you're like, oh, now I need to go back home because I want to be around family. Okay, that's your reason for moving, or that's your reason for transitioning jobs
Hmm.
because you want to be closer to family because family is now what a core value to you. So that's just an example of some things that you want to think about when transitioning. Also, you want to think about, where is my 401k going?
Hmm.
Let's
Yes.
just think about it. Your
We,
401k can't just be out there.
let me tell you, because the people. So if y'all did not check the live that I was talking about, where I really explained how wealthy employees came about the other day, you can go ahead and check that out on the page. But
Mhm.
what I was explaining is that it's such an important thing to get this financial knowledge down pat, because with things like that people don't think about some people don't think about. They don't remember that they had the benefits with this company, and now they're leaving it and they don't realize that the benefit is just sitting there. Yeah, you could possibly, get an email. More than likely they're going to mail you or something and say, hey, your 401k is sitting here. But having the knowledge to know what to do with the money to best benefit you in your next career and for your future is where it really comes into play, because there's so many things that you can do with that 401k. You can like legit you can leave it there, which probably will not benefit you the most, because you're having money sit there but nobody's contributing to it. Your employer is no longer contributing to it because you don't work there, and you're not contributing to it because you probably can't if you have pre-tax dollars going in there. So now you sitting there is probably not going to be your best thing. But then you also have the option to take the money. So if you take the money out of the account, you want to pay taxes on it. You
Mhm.
want to pay that penalty if you're not of age, because those are for retirement. So probably not the best thing either, depending on how much money is in there. But you have options. And what I explained on the live is that the option that we took, me and my husband, was to move ours into an IRA. Some people don't know that that's a possibility. And individual retirement account, you can move that into an IRA. Even if you're planning on being self-employed, there are self-employment, self-directed, self-employed IRAs that you can take advantage of, depending on the company that you're depending on your company structure, that will benefit you the best. But definitely something to think about when you move in. You don't just want to think about the new money, but what about the old money that you got sitting there?
Yes,
What
and
about the old money you got sitting there?
it's definitely a big decision, and I don't
Mhm,
think a lot of us consider that
mhm,
because first off, it's the lack of knowledge.
right.
Second, it's just like I'm just not thinking about that right now. I'm thinking about the money, but you
Mhm,
also got to think. Like I love how you said the old money. Like what's going on with this, and so
mhm,
that is something that you need to do research on. I'm sure Jessica can share with you like more information on that. But I know for me, when I was transitioning from various different jobs and things like that, I honestly didn't think about it. But now,
mhm,
when I transitioned from being an IT auditor to now what I'm doing in the professional development industry, I really had to think about it because I no longer was working with an employer, but I had all this money here. I'm like, now I got to get a IRA of my own, right? In
right.
transition. And so that's what I did. I got an IRA of my own, and you contribute to it as much as you want and so forth like that. There are, I think you already said it, self-directed IRAs where you have more control of the money and you can, have the say so, oh, I want to invest in this, and that. So those are just some options, but that is a way that you can build wealth as an
Mhm.
employee.
Right, exactly. Definitely, definitely number one. Um, thinking about the old money if you're moving, but also in coming into going into a new job, making sure that you're thinking about the value that you're going to be adding, and making sure that your value is top tier in choosing whatever your next career is and everything. Those are the two that we already covered thus far. I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're ready for the rest of this. Okay, I don't think that they're ready. And also when I think that this is kind of the clear thing to think of when people are transitioning. But I think this is a good segue into the next question as far as for interviewing and stuff. So if you're preparing to leave a job,
Mhm,
most likely the first thing you're thinking about is like updating my resume and
mhm.
making sure that's all good and Gucci and everything. But when you're applying for jobs and everything like that, you're probably thinking about your salary too. Like how can I negotiate my salary? How do I make my resume look good enough to, for the salary? So what's your thoughts on all of that? Making sure your resume is up to date and also like how it relates into negotiating your salary.
Yes, you want so okay. Thank you for that question. That's a good question because people just think that, oh, I'm on a job search. Let me just submit this resume. But the first thing you want to ask yourself is, when's the last time I updated my resume? Did you do something on a job 2 weeks ago that is resume worthy? And if you did, guess what? You need to update that resume. Update it often. You want to always, when you're in a job search, you want to be fine tuning your resume for each
Oh,
job that you apply for. And I know that may sound like a tall task because you're like, well, that's just like having another job. It is a temporary job, but your goal is to get another career opportunity, right? So that's how we're going to view it. We're going to have that perspective. So you want to make sure that you're taking the time, looking at the job description, and making sure that you identify those keywords in the job description and put them strategically throughout your resume. And so that's what I help my clients do all the time because they're like, oh my goodness, how do I do this?
I
And
was just about to say, I know that you help people do that because that is something that I did not do it. When I tell you, like I know I have to update this resume, but Lord, if somebody could just do it for me or help me through this, let
and
me tell you. So
And the reason why you do it is because a lot of times we're not face to face handing somebody our resume. We're going through the computer. So
mhm,
basically, you're relying on a computer system to pick you out of everybody that's applied and say, hey, you can now go to a human and a human can now look at your resume. So,
right,
in order to beat the applicant tracking system, or whatever that tool they may use, right? I don't know what it's called, but they use them to weed people out. You want to make sure that your resume is speaking the same language as the job description.
Right.
Period.
Exactly. Yes. And y'all need to check out Crystal. Go ahead and enroll in the U Brand Academy to make sure that you get your resume updated. Because
Yeah.
even if you're not transitioning or looking, this is it's very important that you have it updated for again the next part of the question when
Yeah.
you're looking to negotiate this salary. Because
Yeah.
remember, the first thing that people are seeing about you is your resume.
Yeah.
So if it ain't top tier, I don't know if you ain't probably gonna be able to negotiate that top tier dollar. So
That's
so
a good thing. Oh my god, that's so good. I'm so glad that correlation was brought up because
mhm,
it is key. You don't want a rinky dink resume and then try to be asking for this top dollar over here. You want everything about you to speak top dollar.
right,
So let your resume speak top dollar. Let your resume showcase what it is that you have to bring to the table. I think last conversation we just had was the value. You want to
mhm,
be able to articulate the value add, but you also want people to see it on paper, the value add. Meaning, I want to see some, not just, oh, I bag groceries. No, what did you do for that person that came through that cashier line, through that line? What did you really do? What was the impact? What did you do? You help increase somebody's bottom line,
right,
okay? The company's bottom line. Let's just get real with it. And we're
yeah,
not exaggerating, but literally, if you believe this about yourself and you know the true value that you add to a company, you know that with confidence, right? With confidence, you can surely say that I did all these things.
yes, yes,
It did.
yes.
It
So when we are in the interview process, right, and we're trying to negotiate, let's say we already had the interview and we're trying to negotiate our salary. What are some things that we should be thinking about when we're negotiating our salary from the career perspective? Like what's some of your tips? So we got an
Yeah.
offer, we're not really liking how it's looking.
First off, you want to do some market research.
Mhm.
What is the market paying? Because the market is always up, always down. So let's say you say, I got the offer, I don't like it. And you find out that you're getting paid below market.
Mm,
So guess what? Now you have a lot of room for negotiation. Then you can also go to your resume and say, hey, I took the due diligence, or I took the time to do some research. And this is like an email or a phone call you may be having. I took the time to do some research. And what I found was that the offer that you all gave me is below market value.
mhm.
Also, with my X amount of years of experience, and it's so much you get into it, and you can boom, 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 and then would love to have a conversation with you over the phone, or can we reconsider this
Yeah.
salary?
Yes, yes. See, and I think it's important to make sure that you just on the finance part of it, asking for what you want.
Mm,
Because just like Crystal said, with the market value, you don't want to be just at the market value.
mm,
Even if you want to make sure that you above the market value, because guess what happens? Just like she said, it goes up and down. So in 2 years, if it goes up, guess what? You're gonna be behind already. So you want to make sure you're thinking about this, but not also just with the market value, but thinking about how money works. You know, the dollar today can only go so far. I don't even know what you can get with a dollar. Okay, so
mm.
if you planning
You
on,
can't go to the Dollar Tree and get.
you can
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. They
you can't even go to the Dollar Tree and get nothing with no dollar. So just think about that. Think about how much that has changed. I mean, you used to be able to go to the Dollar Tree and get something not even what 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden it's changed. So think of even if you're not even planning on staying with the company long term, you have to think about these things like my dollar is not going to go as far as it is today. So I need to make sure that I'm prepared for next year, the next year, the next year. And also taxes. You got taxes.
Yes.
Y'all know about taxes. Y'all know we don't like paying them taxes, but
Mm-mm.
we have
Mm.
to negotiate it, right? Like we can't be just asking for 80 thinking that, oh, I'm gonna get the whole 80. You're not about to get the whole 80, honey. First of all, we tied. That's first and foremost.
Come
So
on.
you already 10% gone, right? And then you still gotta pay Uncle Sam and the IRS. So you already, even at minimum, with just federal withholding, if you even make the minimum, you already like 20% done. So that's 30% of your 80 gone. So you're really looking at like 55,000. Are you gonna be okay with that? Is that gonna fit within your budget? You know?
Right.
So
Right.
when you're negotiating, there's a lot of factors to consider, and even in looking for the job, making sure that they're even somewhere within the threshold of what you're trying to actually bring home.
Yeah.
Um,
Also you want to start to think about like other benefits, right? Do they give annual bonuses? Is it
mhm,
something that you can negotiate a bonus? Like, is it based on performance or is it just automatic? Like, what does that look like? And is there a signing bonus when you
right.
do get a job? And I know for me personally, I negotiated my signing bonus and I was just like, letting them know. And this is also another question you have to ask yourself: how vulnerable are you willing to be? In
Right.
my case, I said, I have student loans I need to pay off. And so they upped my signing bonus so I could put that towards my student loans. And that helped me out a lot. And so what is it? It's like a give and take. Like,
Mhm.
okay, what y'all willing to do? You want me.
Right.
All right.
Exactly. They
So let's have these conversations.
right. And I think that's something that people, that when they're interviewing, they may forget that the employer actually wants you. That's why you're there. That's why they're giving you, an offer because they actually want you on the team. So when you walk in, I don't really think that you want to, be timid in that. You don't want to be overconfident, but you also don't want to be timid knowing that this is a give and take. Like, yes, I'm going to be your employee and I'm adding value, but I also know that you need me. So you need my value. And
Yeah.
so I want to make sure that I'm compensated properly for that, regardless if it's benefits or if it's in pay. So, girl,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
All
Um,
of it.
what else? I want to make sure we're not missing nothing, child. Yes. Oh, yes. Making sure that you ask for what you want, but being an exception. Can you talk about that? Being an exception to the rule because
Whew.
we're not all the same.
No, we are not all the same. And so that's what you always have to remember. You are very different from your peers, period. You may have very similar things that look alike on your resume, but that's why you really have to customize your resume. I don't believe in copy and pasting anything. That's just like copy and pasting somebody's brand. And that's not who you are, right? We all have a personal brand. So understand that your personal brand or you are an exception to the rule. So you have to ask for what you want, and then be like, okay, so like in my case, like I'm pretty sure nobody else, I don't know, but I'm just saying nobody else probably thought about, thinking about, talked about their personal loans or their student loans. Student
Right.
loans personal to me, so they personal loans. But
Right. You
but I'm like, this is something that I needed help with. So this is something that I negotiated. So I could say I was definitely an exception to the rule. I was
mm,
exception because they're like, oh, well, we could give you this much. Will you be okay with that? Or I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. Thank you.
right.
But it's like so just really think about what is it something that you could negotiate. Like
Mm,
they're not giving you exactly what you're asking for in your salary, like on an annual basis, then what is it something that you can negotiate like right now? What is
right.
something you can get right now? And the bonuses, the sign-on bonuses is what you get right now.
Right.
Okay. So you have to also think about that. And I think that's all I wanted to cover on that question, but I definitely wanted to talk about, are there specific questions you should ask the interviewer?
Mhm. Yes.
So
Before you moved on though, one thing I did want to mention is that you don't actually know their budget. So they may be offering you something and they may definitely have 10, 15, $30,000 more, but because they want to stick to their lower end of their budget, they may be offering you the lower end. So it's another thing to think about.
also, and you can ask, I know I've asked that question too, like, is this salary on the higher or lower end?
Mm, okay, so what are some other questions?
What does it take for me? What are you looking for people to be at the higher end?
Right.
And if
Yeah.
they give you something, and when they give you something, then guess what? Then you go back to your resume, you go back to what you've done and be like, oh yeah, by the way, I have done X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, let's reevaluate your salary again. Okay, do that. And then and then they will up it for you. And so these are just things that you have to really talk out, think through, and not just take the first thing smoking that they give you.
Yes, yes. Is there any other questions we should be asking? How what are you looking for me to, be on the higher end of your budget? Are there any other benefits that can be offered? What is there any other questions that we should be asking?
What is the promotional structure looking like? Because you want to understand, like, okay, I may have come in at this level and with this salary level, but what is it going to take for me to meet my goal of being at this salary level in this position? Because I will tell you, just because you are maybe, let's say, I'm a senior manager at X amount of firm, that don't mean you're going to be making more than a manager. A
Right.
manager will be making more than a senior manager. Why? Because maybe they just negotiated better. Maybe they came in at the right time at the firm, at the market. I told you the market value goes up and down. So it's like, what are you doing to, or what conversations, rather, are you having with your recruiter, with your leadership team in regards to you meeting your goal? Because
Right.
this isn't their goal. This is
Mm-mm,
your goal,
mhm.
your salary goal. This is how you, like, I got a plan. I want to be making this much. Okay, what's the plan?
Right. Right. What is the plan? What is the plan? The plan
And
is that you need to come sit down with Crystal and I so that we can develop a plan for you because
yes,
we
yes,
need to get you right from A to Z, okay? But
exactly.
that's also a good thing to think about how you said that you needed to be talking to your leadership. So even if you are employed, which moves on to our next part. So even if you are employed, this is something that you can discuss with your leadership now. Even if you're kind of familiar with the promotional structure, I know that in the company that I work with, they say that you know you they have a guideline, let's say, that somebody can promote quicker or in a shorter time frame than what's required or for you to meet the minimum. So that's something that you could be asking your employer right now. Like, I know that I just started, and I've seen this a lot too as well. Um, I know that I just started, but if I pass intro, can I do this? Am I in showing what I shown in intro? Is it a possibility for me to either get more money or increase my salary or get whatever bonus or benefits, or am I able to promote shortly thereafter? So it's definitely a discussion. We could discuss these things, and I'm sure that if the employer sees the value that you're bringing, it will definitely be considered.
Yeah.
So keeping that open mind and just talking about these things. But let's say that your employer unfortunately is just unwilling. They're not really wanting to budge. You just there's no growth. There's just nothing, right? And the only thing that you can think of in this time right now is to get another job in addition to what you're working right now, just so that you can balance out life in the season right now. How do you feel about employees being employed with multiple positions or in multiple
Yeah.
positions?
Or like moonlighting meaning having a job at night
Hmm.
or multiple jobs during the day.
Hmm.
It's possible. I've had clients that have done that. Now, I do evaluate what their personal life is like because again, yes, I'm a career coach, but I'm also looking at you holistically too. Are you a person that are you strictly single? Like you don't have nothing else, no ties, no nothing, right? Not ties to people, not ties and pain.
That's that.
Okay. But if you're somebody like that, then you may have more room in your schedule to have another job and you don't get impacted like that
Right.
personally.
Mhm.
Now, if you have a family and all the things, and you might want to consider maybe not taking on a full-time job, maybe a part-time job,
Right.
maybe. And then also talking to, the people that it's going to also impact
Mhm.
about like, okay, this is my schedule change. This is what it's going to look like from now on. It's not going to be permanent, but it's going to be temporary until we meet our goals because we're all about being that what wealthy employees. So you have to also think about, what's home life going to be like? Am I going to be missing out on certain things? And am I okay for right now with missing out on certain things? And honestly, if you're not, then this may not be the route to take right
Mhm.
now. This just may not be the route to take. But if it is, just make sure you understand in your mind and to the people that it's going to also impact that it's temporary. Temporary may look like 6 months to a year,
Mhm.
just depending on what it looks like to you. But those
Right.
are conversations I have with my clients so that we can all get on a understanding and have a true clarity of what we are getting ourselves into.
Right. Yes, and thinking about that season that you're in too. Like, is this the season in in your, thinking about wanting to have multiple jobs? Like, what kind of season am I in? Am I supposed to be like with this new job? Am I supposed to be networking now that I'm connected to more people? Am I supposed to, am I supposed to be looking for leadership or something? Am I supposed to be maybe on the financial aspect? Maybe I'm supposed to be paying down debt, like with this income that I have coming in. Like you really want to think about what it is and going back to why you really want this. Because
Mhm.
you being connected with a whole nother position opens up another door of opportunities for you. Is this a door that you're trying to really step in and grow with this company, even though you're starting off part-time or whatever? Or like I said, is this something for you to connect with just that one person that's going to push you to the next level, wherever that is? So thinking about all of that. And like I said, financially too, are you supposed to be saving this money? You supposed to be paying down debt? You supposed to be investing this money? Is it kind of just like a beginning of a side thing for you? Like what what is this? What why are you doing this? What does that mean for where you are right now in this season? So, girl, girl.
Yes. I mean, you're really gonna have to ask yourself, and I see a lot of people just moving literally not on purpose. They just moving. And I'm
Mhm.
like, are you moving with purpose or are you moving without purpose? And
Right,
so once you ask yourself those things before you start doing it, not doing in it, and I'm like, okay, I'm just in it. No, what is it before that you're going to consider when you take on multiple jobs?
right,
Because it's a lot of time that you're spending. Now, is it a job where it's like I don't have to take so much time in? It's just certain things. What can you commit to? What can I not commit to?
right. And I think that circles back to just the beginning of our conversation as far as for like, getting into that quiet quitting and getting into just collecting the check mindset. You don't want to fall into that. So that's why you really want to be conscientious of what you're doing and how you're moving, because you don't want to just be moving just to move. You want to
Mhm.
be making sure that you're making the best move, not just financially, but for your family or for yourself, for your future. Making sure that you're really thinking about these things as a whole, and that's what wealthy employees do, y'all.
Exactly. These are the questions that I'll call it like adult decisions
Yeah,
because you're gonna really have to have these conversations with yourself
right.
about the future. Like, what does And that's what all about being wealthy anyway. You're not just moving just to be moving. You're moving with a purpose. And that right there will help build your path to wealthy.
Right,
Path
right.
to- Mhm.
Right, exactly. Because building wealth is not just a one time thing. It's not like a, oh, I just made this investment and now all of a sudden I'm wealthy, or I just
Mhm.
won the lotto and all of a sudden I'm wealthy. No, there's being wealthy is being able to start something and have build wealth, meaning that you're able to actually obtain money, grow that money, invest that money for it to stretch, not just for your lifetime, but for
Yeah.
others afterward. That's what being wealthy is. That's why there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. You just have a lot of money, if you're rich, yeah, you won the lotto, you got $1 million now, but how you gonna make that $1 million turn into 2 million 2 years later? Or how you
Exactly.
gonna make that $2 million, grow and make money for you so that you can have money for your children and your children's children and children's children. Okay. So there's a difference between rich and wealthy, and we definitely want the wealthy path, of course, because why not?
Why right, why not? I
Why
mean,
not?
yeah, these are conversations I have every day with myself, with my husband. I'm like, okay, we know we're wealthy now. We have a wealthy mindset, but we got to realize the wealth,
Right.
Wealth.
Yes, you gotta make sure that you understand that it is possible for you. Because I feel like that's definitely something else. Like if you're not even believing that you can be, it's gonna be a lot harder for you to accept that it's a possibility for you. And it's gonna be a lot harder for you to even want to make the moves to become because you don't believe that you can actually be wealthy.
Mm,
And I mean, this is a Christian channel here, so we believe in God, and
come
God, let
on.
me tell you right now, he he is
Yes,
very wealthy in every aspect, okay? And
yes.
his resources do not run dry. So I don't know about y'all, but being a child of God, I will never ever lack any good thing, okay? So
Yes. We bank with the bank of heaven, and we believe that we live under an open heaven, so God will supply every one of our needs.
exactly.
Yes. But we want to also do our part and be wise, right? Be wise. That's why we listen to Jessica's of the world. That's why we listen to Crystal's of the world and how to
Yes,
get on the path to like, okay, so I see them doing that. What can I do to
right.
get on that path? And not everybody, no, Jessica, we also talked about how not everybody wants to go into the lane of entrepreneurship and you don't have to. You can do it being strategically. You can have the multiple jobs for a season, but know it's for a season. You can have the other streams of income. I definitely believe in that multiple streams of income. And so either you're gonna have you can do it at your employer, you could do it with a side gig or your entrepreneurial ventures. You
Mhm.
can do that. You can have it all going at the same time. It's
Right,
just a matter of managing it correctly so you don't get overwhelmed.
right, exactly. Yes, definitely. We don't need no overwhelm over here. We don't need no stress.
Mm.
Okay.
Peace.
No stress, peace only. Yes, peace,
Yes.
peace, peace. Yes. So I'm just so grateful again for this opportunity to sit here and talk with you for the past 45 minutes. It has been amazing. Again,
Mhm.
everybody, this is Crystal from the U Brand Academy. She is she is an amazing, amazing career coach and amazing person just in general. And she is here to really help you to make sure that in any part of your career that you are really giving your best, that you are offering your best, you're showing the best, you're showing up in every aspect. And her services include, if you want to go ahead, Crystal, go ahead, tell them again what the services include for anybody catching on the back half.
Yes, yes. So first off, thank you again, Jessica, for having me. I'm just so excited that we got to do this and put this together really quickly. I look forward to doing much more with you, working with you in tandem. So I'm excited about that. Also, you all definitely continue to follow me. I said on my social media sites, Crystal Career Gems. You can also join my mailing list by going to my website at www.theubrandacademy.com and join my text messaging list if you want to. Like we said, this is like Jessica said, this is a Christian based channel. I have a faith based career coaching company. So anything like we talk about, yes, we talking about resumes, yes, we talking about preparing for these interviews, but trust and believe we gonna pray before we do any and everything. I'm gonna need you to get it all the way together, okay? And that's one thing I do with my clients. So I love what I do, and I love working with people like you. And so, if you do want to join my text messaging list and just be in the know of what I've got going on, all you have to do is text the word bread, 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 to 201 357 3218. Again, that's 201 357 3218. And so the reason why you're texting the word bread to that is because you'll be a part of my daily bread list. And because we all need our daily bread, when we on our career journeys, trying to be wealthy and whatnot. And so, yes, excited to have you in my group. Also excited for you to follow me on my podcast. um,
Yes.
it's peculiar career chit chat, peculiar career. Like what we had right now is a peculiar career chit chat, right? Why? Because you're not going to find any financial guru or career coach really having these conversations that include God and telling you, like, hey, you do need a tithe. I'm not telling you this for your just to be telling them it works. It's a godly principle, a biblical principle that we practice on a regular basis. So definitely do this, because if you're like, well, my money looking funny, like your money looking funny because yeah, you and I'll let you fill the blank in on that. But yes. But yes, so yes, I look forward to keeping in contact with you. Thank you again for Jessica for having me on your platform.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And all the wealthy employees out there, let me tell you, okay, we got to get it together. Okay, we got to get it together. We need to make sure that we're thinking about everything, not just financially, but in every aspect, holistically thinking about our next move. That is the best way to become wealthy. Not just wealthy employee, but wealthy in general. We have to think about the holistic picture, from our health, from our wealth to our to our fitness, everything in between. Our mental, our spiritual. We need to make sure that we right with God on all levels. So again, that is really the tea. The key and the T to becoming a wealthy person. So again, if y'all have any other questions, you can still drop them in the comments below. We will go ahead and answer them to Crystal, so we can go ahead and get you the answer. But I hope y'all have an amazing Friday. I hope y'all have an amazing weekend, and we will catch y'all on the next one. Thank you again, Crystal.
Thank you, Jessica. Bye, everybody.